Hey, how's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to Thursday night. It is the Earthmaster out here about 9:54 p.m. That's California time. January 16th, 2025 is the date. Latest activity here on the Earthquake 3D globe shows a 1.3 into the oil fields of Texas. Also a little 0.8 out there across California. We'll get to earthquake activity here in just a minute. I want to chat about space weather activity. Returning to some elevated conditions out here as we have a number of sunspots throwing off some flares right now. Newly developed sunspot here has been rapidly growing and is producing a flare at the moment. Just a short time ago, had a number of M flares kicking up here. Very low M grade M flares, but it does show a sign that things are increasing rapidly across a number of sunspot areas out there. So of course, 3964 is a fairly new one out here that popped up just out of the blue. It's speckled here with a whole bunch of different colors, indicating some complexity and growth within that sunspot. So watch that one. It doesn't have much time here while it's facing the Earth to throw us a nice flare or two or CME activity. Because once it gets over here across the western limb, then won't be as geo-effective. But if it does, it should probably do it right now. Also, a number of sunspots here of this local sunspot group. Getting a little bit of intermixing here within this area as well. And a trail of sunspots up here on the northeastern limb of the sun. We'll watch this here in the coming days for an elevated flare threat here. We've got about 15% chance for the X flare, M flare at 50, C flare at 90%. So things are increasing here across the board in terms of the flaring activity. No major roars there in the forecast for now. A little bit of amplified conditions tonight. I believe that's just from the coronal hole that's been facing us here for a couple days. Some type of weak, moderately weak enhanced area, I guess, of high-speed solar wind stream flowing from this coronal hole over the past couple days, but really not expecting much there in terms of any major aurora activity. All right, earthquake activity. Let's go ahead and check out the Earthquake 3D globe here, see what we have for the latest activity. We'll go ahead and start up here across the North American area. Some movement outside of the Stanley, Idaho area, 3.2 coming in at the northern edge here of the Sawtooth Fault System. That's quite an active fault area outside of Boise up in the mountains there. They always see, almost seems like they're always seeing earthquake activity in that region. A handful of earthquakes up here across the Cascades, Mount Rainier, and outside of Seattle. The Seattle fault showing just a little bit of activity here in the last 24 hours. Nothing big going on there for now. A couple more earthquakes here across Northern California with the latest of 1.8, 14 miles deep here. That is not a surface quake, but a subduction zone quake there of the Cascadia. Also some activity earlier this evening as well with a 2.2. Very shallow earthquake here at the surface level. But increasing, definitely a noticeable increasing amount of earthquake activity out here. Let's check out the tremor map here tonight real quick, see what we have for Cascadia tremor, which consists here of 124 epicenters, mostly up there across the Washington and Oregon area. Of course, this is tremor activity occurring down into the deeper area of the Cascadia subduction zone, a little bit there across Northern California as well. That could be why we're seeing a little bit of activity stirring up here, and also some type of elevated activity across the Cascades. Got to remember, the strain that gets produced up here at the surface level can get quite high when we're looking at pressurized plate boundaries here, such as this subduction zone. So this is probably due to the elevated tremor downstream, but obviously adding some strain, getting some surface quake activity up here as well. Nothing big going on for the Cascadia subduction zone for now. Across the Alder area, Alder Springs, just west of me here, 3.2, along with a couple other smaller quakes in here. Very shallow crustal quakes down here across Northern California as well, as far as inland activity goes. The Bay Area, pretty quiet. Not a whole lot happening there for now. Southern California, let's go ahead and check out the 2.5 map. Well, that pretty much removes all the earthquakes except for a 2.8 near Minotone. That's just outside the San Andreas Fault area here in Southern California. Aside from that, generally small microquake activity up and down the board today. Really no major change here across Southern California. Just looks like a typical day, but still keep an eye out on the San Andreas Fault. There's some activity stirring up in the oil fields there outside of Pecos, Texas, and the Big Spring and Midland area. Nothing going on across the New Madrid seismic zone. The eastern portion of the country, pretty quiet. Let's give a quick glance here at the Kilauea volcano on the Big Island of Hawaii. Last time we checked here this morning, things were still active. And as of right now, still some beautiful fountaining going on. Looks like two distinct areas here with some massive fountaining going on that was observed earlier. Looks like this could be an ongoing event for a little while. We'll check back on that, see if anything changes here tomorrow morning. Not a whole lot of earthquake activity, just some free flow of magma from below up to the surface, creating some beautiful lava fountainings. Let's see here. Anything else major going on? 4.9 out in the Mid-Atlantic Ridge area. Got a little swarm going on here, it looks like, in Iran, I believe, right? Let me see where that's at. Yeah, it looks like southwestern Iran area, 4.7 and a 4.4, but a bunch of other earthquake activity stirring up there as well. There's been a lot going on underneath this area recently to cause a lot of larger earthquake activity here across the Himalayas. A lot of rift boundaries out here showing some elevated activity. The Ethiopia region looks like they had another earthquake or two today, 4.7 and a 4.7 there earlier for Thursday. Nothing big going on there for now, but definitely got a lot of broad scale activity going on here. Let's see, South America region, aside from a couple smaller quakes down there, really nothing big. 4.1, latest earthquake here, it looks like way down south here, around the southern end of the Middle America Trench, I'm guessing around the El Salvador area. All right, Alaska's been swarming up here slightly as well. Got some noticeable uptick in earthquake activity, including a 2.6, the latest quake. Some 4s out here, some 3s as well. Kind of making a trail out here across this area outside of Anchorage. Looks like things starting to pressurize quite nicely out across that subduction zone. Keep an eye on this area. As far as large-scale activity goes in this region, let me check here when our last decent earthquake was. I know the Aleutian Trench had an 8-pointer, 8.1 back in 2021, but I'm just kind of curious to see when our last 6-pointer was out here. I'm going to go back just to 2020. We'll take a look here. Not really concerned about the entire length of the Aleutian Trench, just more around the Gulf of Alaska here, where we're seeing that somewhat elevated activity. 0 results, really? Is that right? Minimum 6.0. Okay, let me go back here a little bit and see. There we go. So technically, well, that's kind of weird. 2018. Yeah, that's when our last decent earthquake was up around Anchorage. I remember that 2018 there. I had just went up there for a little bit of scenery up across Anchorage area a few years back, and that earthquake struck after I left. Let's see what we got back here. 2018, 7.9. That was a pretty big earthquake just prior to the subduction zone. 6.3, 2012. Not a whole lot specifically right here, though. I mean, that's interesting that this is a seismic gap area. It can get some big earthquakes, but really nothing here in recent terms. So we'll continue to watch that. Obviously any type of elevated activity around the major subduction zone needs to be watched. So keep an eye up here on Alaska. The Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, pretty quiet. In fact, things look like they're taking a little break out here across this area in terms of larger scale movement. A couple 3s out there across the Japan Trench, but really nothing major going on there for now. But of course, we still got to keep an eye on the Nankai Trough there for some major movement expected. New Zealand, some older activity there, 3.2, nothing big. All right, far as weather outlook goes here, we'll double check this, see what we got. I know a lot of cold air venturing down here into the country as we head towards the weekend and early next week. Massive cool pull of air, pretty much putting the entire country out there well below normal. If we look at the thermodynamic map here in terms of temperature anomalies, well, there you have it. Everywhere except where I'm at, Northern California, Western Oregon, Washington area. Yeah, I'd rather have the cold than the temperatures that we're having right now. That's a lot of cold air coming down. And it's not going to last long, but it looks like there is another decent cool pull behind that for the following weekend. And maybe even another one behind that. So things are they're kind of stuck in a weird pattern out here. I'm hoping it changes. Looks like rain may be returning there to Northern California. Very hopeful because it's been a super, super dry January. I've only picked up here just barely a quarter of an inch of rain for January, and that's not normal. We should easily see a few inches of rainfall for January on average. This is our rainy season, and it's just not happening, folks. Aside from that, a quick glance at the fire activity in the Southern California region. Things are getting better in terms of containment, and really no hot spots showing up there on the fire map. Containment at 27% there at the Palisades fire. That's the larger of the two down here. The Eaton fire is getting a pretty good containment line on that as well, 55%. No hot spots being observed. And as far as I can tell here, no new fire starts out there in the California area for now. Well, at least in Southern California, it looks like, oh yeah, I heard about that. Some type of fire out here across the, I believe this is a lithium area, lithium plant, Moss Landing power plant. Let's see here. Yeah, wow. So the Santa Cruz County public health officials are advising residents to stay indoors, keep windows and doors closed, limit outdoor exposure, and turn off ventilation systems per CAL FIRE. Yeah, but there's some type of lithium plant here. That's not good. Evacuation orders. They've actually evacuated this whole area. I wonder if that thing's going to blow. That's pretty crazy, so we'll have to check back on that. But that can't be good, right? Lithium power plant area. All right. I'll have to check back into that a little bit more and give an update in the morning. But anyway, have a good night, folks. We'll catch you guys back out here sometime in the morning. It is Friday tomorrow. Congratulations there to our member winner, Linda Eaton. We do member drawings here every month. So if you want to be entered into the Magic Fishbowl to win some prizes, got to jump on board and become a member. Pretty easy. We'll catch you guys out here sometime in the morning. Enjoy your Thursday night. Stay safe out there.